come to the bold analysis. Today I am very disappointed. And I am disappointed, and we are disappointed as a country, that ex-IEBC commissioners, speaking on their behalf, Abdi Guliye, is reminding the country about the wounds of the last general election that themselves they bungled at the time the country is critically pursuing unity. And it is quite unfortunate because it is general public that we as a country, the electoral challenges that we have faced has actually been backed by the Electoral Commission. This has been happening either by design or not. By design or by coercion. They are the reasons behind the problems the country is facing. Abdi Guliye, one of the IBC commissioners that worked with Wafula Chebukati and the rest, appearing in a TV47 interview, shocked the country by saying, or rather by telling William Ruto, that himself he is disappointed and do not welcome the mediation talks that are being organized between Raila and Ruto, because according to him, it is a mockery of the shambolic elections they spearheaded. And I have used the word shambolic by very intentional to show that what they are defending was shambolic. According to Guliye, there is no need for talks between Ruto and Raila because in their school of thought, they conducted a free and fair election. Now, when you look at the talking points, what the objectives or what is supposed to be discussed in those mediation talks, we have tried as a country to veer off from the last election issues. And if you look at what Azmi has tabled, they're not talking about the IBC servers. I think they have dropped that line about the servers. And unlike the first round, which was more about the servers, in this second round, that stand on the servers has been dropped. And the discussion going on, one of the main reasons why Kenyans from all walks of life came out to protest was never about Ruto being a president of note. That matter was settled. It was about Ruto not putting the priority of the population when they are formulating the policies. And that is why there's a discussion about the cost of living. Someone next to Guliye and other commissioners, because I want to believe that statement is not just himself, that is something from their peer discussion, must remind him that the 16 young men that died in Kisumu under very saddening situation did not lose life because they wanted Raila Odinga to be the president. Note, what has been at the center of our political aggression is not presidency, is not a bid to switch presidency. And we've agreed as a country, the discussion about who won the last election, we'll leave it. But we are going to have a candid discussion about the priority as a country and what we can do to make it better. I am a bit disturbed because Abdi Guliye came in the commission before 2017 general election. And during every election cycle, we have experienced the death, killings of electoral officials. He was there for 7 years. And during his tenure, Chris Musando died some few days to general election. As an official who has been spearheading, has been presiding Kenyan elections, unless they choose to bury their head under the sand. But the truth of the matter here is, our elections have been very divisive and a matter of death, life, and death. And at least for once, we needed to find a way. It has never been. It was through their time in the election that even an election was thrown away. So I am finding it a bit selfish and I don't know which adjective to use to describe their position about the mediation talks. They are the last lot that could actually think of opposing those talks, because the talks is a remedy to their mess. If they spearheaded free and fair election, then why was that commission split? Why was the commission split? And why would they want us to believe that the 3 are always right and the 4 are not right? Where do we get the monopoly of ideas so that you still want to come 8 months, 9 months after election, you still want to come back and lecture the country about how you did a free and fair election? And if so, then why is the contestation there? I think they are the least that should lecture the country about the mediation talks. It should not. Why do people have to die every time? I have looked at the topics that are to be addressed. And by the way, this is not the first time there are mediation talks. Let's be honest. Why is it that now the Messiah ABC commissioners is now seeing a problem with the current talks, while the first phase of mediation talks, of bipartisan talks that was organized between Azimio and Kenya Kwanza, that there was no foreigner involved? Why didn't they raise an objection against the first phase? Why is it that this one now, because there is even someone, a foreigner, Obasanjo coming to mediate, why are they all of a sudden turning against it? And I dare ask again. So if Obasanjo was to get wind of what ABC commissioners are saying, how would it be? I still repeat, the best they can do is to also take their silence, the way we have been asking Uhuru Kenyatta to take a backseat. I honestly do believe they also need to take a backseat. There is a seat belonging to them, and that seat is seat of ex-IBC commissioners. Let them get their pension and their gratuities and let them get their packages peacefully, paying taxpayers' money. People have lost lives. In every election cycle, we've had a problem with our elections. Kenyan is already there are people who support Ruto, don't support, there are those who don't support Ruto. And so that is the reality. What the country is doing is not wrong. But I want to explain this and kindly listen to this part. Why do you think Guliye, and there is a clique of commissioners under Guliye, I want to believe, are a bit afraid or are moved with the current mediation talks? But before I give you the 3 reasons why they are, I am seeing something. This could as well be because what is the coincidence of Abdul Guliye giving an interview at this time when the country is talking about the mediation talks and is talking about the constitution of IBC? Why would they make that commentary now? I am seeing a possibility that the deep state is finding different avenues of discrediting the mediation talks. I may be wrong on this, but there is a high possibility that this is part of the wider scheme to discredit even the talks, because to, what Abdi Guliye is saying is in concurrence with what some other UDA MPs have been saying. They've been saying there is no need for talks and Ruto won free and fair. And they've also been saying that there should be no boardroom talks between the leaders. Let Ruto and Raila speak in public and have a dialogue in front of the TV. What he's saying is in concurrence with what some UDA MPs have been saying. So it might be premature, but it's also true. You can also see a conclusion here that there is some effort to make sure that the talks are discredited even before they start. But then, let's dig deep. Sometimes it is always about the interests. There are three reasons why former IBC commissioners are trembling about the Obasanjo Commission. Number one, there is a tendency, and it's a culture, people normally don't want to let go. Immediately after the election, Chebukati and the team were praised by William Ruto's supporters as the messiah of the moment. And they will then move and try to project what they did as one of the best things that has ever happened in the history of the Republic of Kenya. And so what is been going on is that they will still want to hang around. Remember, they have not been given any jobs. They still want to hang around election process. They still want to have some influence within the commission. Why? This is the commission that is really going to roll very huge tenders. This is a commission that also have some some employment opportunities around. So these people have realized that in the new discussion about the constitution of IBC, somewhere the law changes or the way they are picked changes, and people they might have fronted. It's very easy for someone to say, I'm going to give you this person to get. They know very well that with some bipartisan approach in the constitution of IBC, some of ex-commissioners that could have interests, their interest is going to be eroded, and there's no way they're going to find a way. So that is the reason number one. They're very huge tenders. They have interest. They could have interest in those tenders. They could have interest on some job opportunities that are there. They could have interest in quite a number of many other things. But then they know very well that when reconstitution is done in a bipartisan manner, probably those interests might not get their way. Those loopholes might be sealed. Number two, there have been talks of what would happen. And we saw that Wafula Chebukati's wife, Mary Chebukati, was awarded. It was, of course she's been working in government, but that CRA was the commissioner is rewarding. So what I'm also seeing here is there are some people that are feeling that for them to be rewarded, it's very easy for them to be rewarded when there is political animosity between Ruto and Raila, because maybe they still hold some secrets. Now, the essence of using those secrets as a bait to, ask to still lobby for something for themselves is only available when there is political animosity. And I'm so much disappointed that a whole professor will want the country to continue fighting, while there is an avenue of pursuing peace. Professor Guliye will still want to entertain the current stalemate that we've had, while we have a very prime opportunity to pursue peace. Who puts peace as a second option? I'm not just simply getting it. And so, they might feel that if Ruto and Raila talks, if Ruto and Raila talks in the middle, then they might be rendered irrelevant and they might not be rewarded. And that's why there are people that still want the political animosity to escalate. Lastly, could Obasanjo Commission revisit the election mess? But have I said I've not seen it? But But the people just scared. And if you did free and fair election, yes, you have done, your work ended at the election. The second phase, what's currently going on, doesn't need you. Really. No one is consulting you. So are people afraid that maybe we are going to revisit the grand election mess? Because I believe, it's in general public, one way or the other, something didn't go on right. Whether it is themselves working, whether it is synergy within the commission or infiltration from other quarters, the truth of the matter is that 2022 general election, it was not a smooth ride. And something still needs to be done. Thank you. I don't know what you think. Myself, I think that's one of the worst. You know, it's nyinyi mlishamaliza yenyu. Yeah, so I think, yeah, nyinyi endeni tu. I think that's it. Thank you.